that we already have in place to help them better understand. We're going to use some props today. So if you could take out your notebooks and open up to the next open page. Label the date, April 5th. 5 more seconds. More like 15. Jack's ready. Size ready. Ellison. I'm going to need some help today, so I'm going to be looking for friends who are sitting slant, for friends who are following along, and for friends who are participating. We don't know decimals yet, but by the end of the day, you're going to know how to write a decimal and say a decimal. Up here I have this red thing. You can see it right here, and you can also read the parts. What is this red thing called? Julie. It is a scale. What is this scale measuring? No? Ebenezer? Out on the outside, the blue is kilograms. There's also pounds on the inside, but we're just going to focus on the outside numbers in kilograms. So I have here, right, 10 bags of rice. Right? I make rice a lot, so I have 1 pound, or 10 bags, equal bags, for 10 nights. And if I put all of these together and I put them on my scale, 10 equal bags, my 10 dinners, gets me to.
That's 10 dinners. What's in bowl?
Right here. Who can tell me what that measures? How many kilograms? Who's got Not 1 pound over pounds on the inside. We're looking at the kilograms. Let me move that arrow. You see it? 7. Not 10. 1 kilogram. What I want you to do is think about our whole as a tape diagram. Our whole is every single one of Miss Steinberg's bags of rice. Let Nicholas find a new spot. I want you to draw that whole as a tape diagram. I want you to fit as much of it as possible. And last one's the pen. As much of it as possible on your page. So a really ginormous tape diagram from one end to the other.
Dang.
If you are making noises right now,
What is it here?
this big giant tape diagram, the whole represents how much? Luca just told us. Who can remind us how much it represents? Jenna.
1 kilogram.
You got it. Let's label that. So we need to know our whole. And our units are kilograms. And I started by telling you that I had 10 equal sized bags. If I were to show that on my tape diagram, what would I do? Austin, what do you think?
I think
The numbers. I might write some numbers in there, but how do I know what to write? I have to draw something first. Wait till I have a few more hands. Nicholas, what are you thinking?
since we're learning this, I'm pretty much guessing the length and width or the
It's
area.
a tape diagram. Remember when we have tape diagrams? Break
Oh, you break them up.
How many pieces?
Oh.
How many bags do I have?
10?
How many bags do I have? Does anyone else remember? Langston.
10.
10. You got it right. So how many pieces do I have, Langston? I have 10. Let's partition or decompose our tape diagram into 10 equal pieces. Let's see if you can beat me. We know that 5 is going to be in the middle, so I'm going to draw a half so my pieces are equal. Make sure they're equal because we want to show that we have the same amount in each bag.
Done.
Looking for friends who are showing me slant to help me later. One of those pieces, 1 bag out of 10. What fraction is that? Justin. Yeah, exactly. 1 out of 10. Let's bracket one of those pieces and label it 1/10. That's what it represents. We're going to ignore those noises, and I'll follow up with those friends later, because we're not going to interrupt any more of our learning, all right? We have 1/10. So if I had one bag out of my 10, I'd have 1/10. What if I had 2 bags? Who can raise their hand and tell me how many I would have? Alex.
2/10.
Nice. That's okay. What about 3? All you need to look at is the scale right now. Janelle. All right. How about 5? Aiden. How about 7? Ella. And 10. Connor. 10 cents. So we can show all of these bags. But I told you today we're not just going to talk about fractions, we're going to talk about decimals too. And if you look at, the scale, make sure we're at 0 here. Look at our scale. On the side here, this shows me decimals. It shows me tenths of a kilogram. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Mathematicians talk about decimals and they talk about fractions in a very similar way. Fractions are always out of 10 or 100 or 1,000 or powers of 10. And on our word wall, we have a lot of words that we're going to learn today. When you look at our first decimal, let's take one bag and put it onto our scale. What does that fall on? Who wants to read that? This is a tough one. You've never read decimals before. Dash, you want to try? Say that again. Here. 0.1. We can also call that, and this is the mathematician's way of saying it, 1/10. So we said that one bag on our tape diagram was 1/10 of a fraction, as a fraction, and this is also called 1/10 as a decimal. So you can call it 0.1, but you can also call it 0.1. This is where I'm going to need my help back. So I'm going to look for someone who is sitting slant to come up and help me put the rice onto our scale. Ella, can you come on up here? If you are on the carpet, you have another very important job. So Ella, can you go stand by the bags of rice, and as I tell you to put them on, can you place a bag of rice onto the scale? So right now, we have, oops, take one off, one more. Right now we have, what was it, Dash? 0.1. Yep, 0.1. Let's draw a number line underneath our tape diagram. Make sure it's the same exact length. So you want to find your 0 point and go all the way to your whole kilogram. What is this endpoint? Aiden even knew when she wasn't looking. Julian. And Julian, if this is 0, what's this endpoint? And notice how I'm lining up the edges of my number line with the edges of my tape diagram. So we started with 0, and we put on one bag of rice. Let's line up that partition in our tape diagram with the partition in our number line. Dash said that is equal to 0.1. What was the other way that I told you we could say that? Valerie. 1/10. We can also say that as 1/10. Ella, now can you place another bag of rice? Who can tell me what that is now as a decimal, using the mathematician's way of saying it? Jeffrey. Sorry? 2/10. You got it. So take your partition in your tape diagram, draw an imaginary line down to your number line, and add another partition. Label that one 2/10, or we can also call it 0.2. What is that as a fraction? Janelle. 2/10. You say it the same way, 2/10. The next one. I'm seeing the same hands. I want to see a new hand. Clarissa. Oh, sorry, Ella. You can add another bag. 3/10. Draw that on your number line. Make sure you draw that imaginary line so it matches up with your tape diagram. And our fraction is the same. Who wants to do the next two? The next two. A major challenge. try the next one. 4 tenths. 0.4 or 4 tenths. And I said Josiah's going to do the next two, so Josiah, what would my next one be? 5 tenths. And can you say that with the 0? There you go. He's got it. Josiah had the next two. Let's do the next two. Who wants to try those? And Ella's going to add 2 bags of rice. So you're going to have to think about the next one on your own. Justin, go ahead. Use a strong voice. 0.7 would be my next. And 2, what would be in between? 0.6. It's important to say the 0. Who wants to say those like a mathematician? Julian. Strong voice, because I don't think Meredith can hear you.
6 tenths and 7.
Yes. And we're going to write those in fraction forms. 6 tenths and 7 tenths. And the next one, Ella, can you add another bag? Don't let it topple. Roya.
That would be
0.8 or 8 tenths. And then as a fraction? Roya. 8 tenths. Who wants to tell me the last one? Aisha.
9 tenths or 0.9.
0.9, we also say it's 9 tenths as a mathematician. And the fraction?
9 tenths.
9 tenths. I thought that was the last one, but we have to do something with 1. That's not how mathematicians write a whole if they're using decimals. Celine, what do you think?
I was thinking you could write 1.0.
Sorry, say it again.
1.0.
You were thinking correctly. Why were you thinking that way?
Because after you make a whole, which is 10 tenths, you would, just like when we do it normally, you would move it over and you would have 0, just like in the number 10. It's 1.
See, it is just like that. Also, you have 1 whole, and how many tenths would I have in this place? Denim.
You will have 1.
I have 1 whole. How many tenths do I have? I do have 10 tenths, but how many do I show here? 0. My 1 goes in my 1's place, my 0's in my 10's.
Is it when you get to the whole, it's like you are starting over?
Kind of. So what would the next one be, Jenna?
0.
Not 0. You have a 1 now. If I continued this tape diagram, I have another line here, and it would be 1 point what? 1.0. I now have a 1.0 here. What would my next one?
You did.
We're going to be supportive of everyone in this room. Roya. 1.1. Right? We started here 0, 0.1, 1.0, 1.1. But today we're just going to work with the numbers in between 0 and 1. Thank you, Ella. Let's give her 2 snaps on 3. 1, 2, 3. What would happen? Jeffrey, go back to your seat. What would happen if I took 2 of these bags off? Justin, go back to your seat. How many would I have left on my scale? Please write this down in fraction and decimal form on your page. I'm coming around to give you a check.
What is this?
Look for my really good listeners. Albeezer's got it. Look there again.
Said right. Smelly.
Where's your fraction and decimal form? There's your fraction and decimal form.
Right there. Is that a 6? What's on this card?
Let me see. No,
Jen, what did you get?
no.
I got 0.8 and 8 tenths.
Give me two. You got that. I said I took off 2.
You know,
Write
No.
down in
Can you hold up your
fraction
book?
and decimal form
can you hold on your book
how
up
much
real
I
quick?
took off. I took off 2 bags of rice, but what does this represent out of a kilogram?